All right, welcome in. It is time for Total Bases. I just spilled water all over myself 2 seconds before we went live, so off to a flying start here on a Tuesday, which of course is $5 Tuesday, which means there's a whole bunch of plays up on the WagerTalk site for $5. Myself, Tokyo Brandon, our co-host Bryan Leonard, he will be back tomorrow. I misspoke yesterday. He will return tomorrow. So, I know you guys have missed Bryan. We'll have him back in the building. All of us have plays up for $5, including guys like Ski Profit, who continues to tear it up on the hardwood this summer, and whatever other sports are going on right now. I'm sure someone out there is betting tennis or something, golf. I don't know. We got preseason football around the corner. So yeah, exciting time. Everyone's got $5 plays up at Wager Talk, so take advantage of that. Hopefully, for me and you, Tokyo Brandon, obviously take advantage of it for us, but the other guys at the site as well. TB, how was your Monday night?
Yeah, I won my 5% play yesterday with ease, actually. I had the Rays -1, and then I went 3-0 in Asian baseball this morning, so pretty happy. It is $5 Tuesday. I have one play up in MLB for $5. All my Asian baseball that I just won were all $5 as well. So yeah, it's going well.
Yeah, I 0-1 for me last night. The Padres got me again. We joke about it. That team, if I put a dime on them, they simply don't show up. And that's what happened last night. Kind of no-showed that game. It really wasn't a great effort. Jacob Hepler, thank you. Yes, the Pirates were the better call for me. Didn't get there with them for a client play, but we got them out on the show. They won that game 4-3. And I too agreed with your Rays play. I released that on my web on my Wager Talk page as a free pick, where I basically said, man, I would have loved to find a way in with the Rays, just couldn't do it at the price. But as you said, rocking chair winner, any price, 1.5. You could have bet the Rays any which way, and it would have won. So yeah, I wish I could have done better than 0-1. The only one I got there to the window with was the Padres, but at least I got, I guess, the same. I got in before it flipped to a favorite, so I didn't win any. Didn't lose any juice, if you will. For me, just, last 4 days or so have been pretty sluggish. After a really good start to last week, I've kind of given back the last 4 days. So, Tokyo Brandon, let's get into it. Let's try to win some money today. And we're going to start with the clear feature game. National TV here in the States. You can find this game on TBS. And the biggest game in all of baseball tonight will be, of course, Tariq Skubal's debut for the Dodgers, as they now try to snap a 4-game losing streak after they lost last night. I saw one of your smaller plays was the Dodgers. I guess I'm glad I didn't get to the window with that, because I like them as well. Kind of shocking that this losing streak is at 4. I don't think I've liked the $2 favorite as much as I like the Dodgers here all year. I'd be shocked if it continues tonight. What about you, Dodgers Cubs?
Yeah, so yes, the Dodgers was a 2% loser for me. They are playing very uninspired ball. Watching that game, I was thinking, why do you leave Robelski in that long? I mean, he clearly didn't have his stuff. He gave up 3 straight home runs, inning after inning after inning. He had 6 earned going into the 5th. Why do you leave him in? He's a young guy. He needs to keep his confidence. This is why Dave Roberts is a complete moron and the worst manager in the history of MLB. But they got Skubal on the mound, and the talent will probably save the idiotic managerial decisions eventually. So the Dodgers do this every season. They just let it go until about 2 weeks before the end of the regular season, and then they gear up for the playoffs. And that's basically what we're seeing. And Skubal should be all right against the Cubs. I mean, he has a 655 OPS against them in his career, which is decent. Skubal's 7-5 though. He does lose games, so he's not invincible. And Assad is 6-1, but he's actually not that good. There are plenty of Dodgers who get to Assad on a regular basis, including Kyle Tucker has pretty good numbers against him, and Pajes also gets to him. So I think we'll see a little bit of scoring here. You would it'd be tough to bet against the Dodgers in this one, but I said that yesterday. Just a very talented team playing very lazy ball right now. So Scooble's not going to be lazy, though. I did a little research to find out teams, pitchers who get traded after the trade deadline in the last 5 years. Is there a bump in their numbers or are they flat? And it basically said there's no value of what's the word I'm looking for? There's no what's the word? There's no edge. There's no edge either way. So I think it's Dodgers or nothing, but I'm not betting this lazy team.
I will. I have no problem with the Dodgers here. First of all, let's not. I mean, listen, Dave Roberts is not the best X and O guy in the history of the game, but he's not a bad coach. I mean, he's actually some of these guys like Dave Roberts and Aaron Boone, in my opinion, get too much criticism because their job is far more than just like the X's and O's stuff. Like to manage the Yankees or the Dodgers, like you have to manage the locker room. You got all these egos. You got to manage superstars all on big contracts. And it's like, that's not for everyone. That's the reason Boone, it will still be the Yankee manager, right? Like he does a good job of that. I think Dave Roberts does a great job of just like, he almost probably sets the tone a little bit for this very relaxed, like sort of atmosphere during the regular season. But here's the thing with the Dodgers. It's not lazy as much as it's like we are they call it the dog days of August for a reason, right? It's an 162 game season. This grind started for a lot of these players back in February when some of the best players were playing for their countries in the World Baseball Classic, then into March with spring training. So a lot of teams have to really dig deep in the month of August to win games and to play at the level that they have been playing at all year. Okay. The Dodgers have afforded themselves the luxury of not having to do that. Why? They have an 145 run differential. Okay. 577 runs scored to 432 given up. They're 69-44. It's not that they're not trying as much as it's like they just don't have to dig as deep as some of these other teams who right now are playing like literally playing playoff baseball, because you have certainty. Now, I'm not saying the Cubs are that team, but certainly the Red Sox over the weekend, like they're in the mode where if they don't win games over the next 3 to 4 weeks, their season's going to be over. The Dodgers have the luxury of, going out, taking their foot off the gas a little bit, maybe not exerting as much, because in 3 to 4 weeks, they're still going to be where they're not going to blow a 10-game lead on the division. It's now 9 with the Diamondbacks. Here's why I think they show up today. You got your new guy on the mound who happens to be Tariq Skubal, one of the best pitchers in the sport, arguably the best pitcher in the sport. If you can't get up for this game, then there's an issue, right? Like I get not really caring over the weekend, whatever. Because the other thing is this. There's a combination of the Dodgers maybe not. It's not that, again, not caring, but like the Red Sox are playing incredible baseball right now. So if you didn't like get up for the Red Sox, like they're going to come in and win those games. Very similar to the Cubs. Like this is a team playing good ball where like you're not going to go through the motion and beat the Cubs. You can go through the motion, beat the Rockies. You can go through the motion and beat a lot of teams in the league. But like the Dodgers are running into some of the teams that you actually have to show up and play a pretty good game to beat. I think that's why they got clipped by the Cubs last night after starting off with a little bit of a lead. But like here, I think their full attention of this team is going to be on this game because they don't want to ruin Skubal's debut. Like, in my opinion, like that's going to be important for them. And your guy, Dave Roberts, is going to do a good job of saying, hey, guys, this one's important. Like, we got to get up for this one. And that's why I think the Dodgers easily win this game tonight. Probably my favorite $2 favorite of the season. Someone's like, move it on, Triggs. I would have moved it on if I didn't love the Dodgers so much tonight. They will win. I have no clue how to bet it. I guess you could maybe lay a minus. I'm not big on laying -1 at a juiced price. The Dodgers will win this game tonight. That's all I have to say.
Good luck. Hey, Dave Roberts, if he was manager of the Twins or the Royals, would he make them better teams? No.
But
if Dave Roberts got fired today by the Dodgers, would anybody hire him? No.
Yes, without a doubt.
Come on.
Without a doubt. Go TB. Look around the league. Like there are some questionable
he's a terrible
managers.
cook with great ingredients. So
Someone says Trigger sounds like a young kid trying to sell you a car. You got to be like, I guess you got to be new to this show.
I don't
you say
think
that
so. You're
because
just making
the reason I'm if you've watched me all year, very rarely, very, very rarely do I like a $2 favorite. That's kind of why I went in a little bit more right there. Like very rarely am I like super high on like a bet on a two like on a favorite in this price range. But like in reality, I think it should be higher than this because I just think like we didn't even talk about the other side of it being Assad. This is like a pretty big mismatch in my opinion. I know the Cubs have played well, but yeah, I think again this is probably as good as you're going to get for like the Dodgers with Scooble. I don't think you're going to find a better price. But yeah, hey, we can move along. I'm just saying, like, yeah, Russell said, yeah, this was our feature game. I happen to have a strong conviction on this game. It's probably the most I've liked a $2 favorite in any game this entire season. Actually, it is. I'm not going to put it in the parlay because it's a 2-teamer. And I don't want to burn a leg on a minus $2 favorite, but like you could find a way to get into I don't know. There's no day games. I would find a way to use the Dodgers today in some fashion. That's just me. Danny, I get you. Like, yeah, I think the Cubs could be up for it as well, but like you still have an Iowa Cub on the mound here. That's the problem. Like, so, against
Iowa Cub.
Yeah. I mean, Javier Assad is a what I like to call a 4A guy. Although he's having a pretty good season this year. I might have to
very short outings, but yeah, I mean,
David, here's the thing. Betting is not about picking winners and losers. Okay. I know a lot of people like to think that, but like there's still everything's got a price. Like for example, I love the Rays last night. I didn't get the price. So no, I'm not going to put it out as a 5% play. I think the Dodgers win this game. Do I want to come out and necessarily lay $2? I may find a way to play it, but like you got to have the right price point too.
To make that point clear, think of sports betting as buying a car. If you see a nice Mercedes, if someone's selling you that Mercedes for $5,000, you'll buy it in a heartbeat. But if someone's selling it to you for $500,000, it's overpriced and you don't buy it, even though the Mercedes is the same nice Mercedes. This is sports betting, guys. You have to see it that way.
Yeah, and I think to a couple of the points in the chat, I think if I didn't respect the Cubs as much as I do, this might be a scenario where I would just play a -1.5 or a -1 or just lay the $2. But I do respect the Cubbies. And yes, hey, they can get hot, and I think that's what keeps me off here. All right. The people want to move it along. Let's move it along. Alex Rand says, weird, but I kind of like the Blue Jays again today. So yesterday on the show, Tokyo Brandon, they made a trade that I couldn't quite put my finger on at the time. I couldn't really understand why they wanted to get rid of Gossman, bring in Soriano, but also basically lose one of their top prospects. As the day went on, I figured out what they were doing, and I like what they did. The Blue Jays essentially bought and sold at the same time yesterday. And what they basically did was they got rid of some contracts that they didn't want anymore, and they got in some guys with some control. But also, in the process of doing that, they shook up a team that has been very stagnant so far this year. So I actually kind of like what the Jays did during yesterday's break. I'm not saying it makes them a World Series team by any means, but I don't necessarily think they got worse. And maybe they've got a little mojo now. Maybe just mixing it up a little bit gets them going. They get the 3-1 win last night. TB, what do you think? Jays, Astros, how are you seeing this one?
To address the comment, that's why you're not a scout anymore, TB. I'm not a scout anymore because it doesn't pay the bills. And I'm a good capper. I've been number 1 at WagerTalk 3 of the last 5 years. So go chirp somebody who loses, not me. Let's get to the Blue Jays game. Houston's on fire, though, man. That bullpen and that hitting, holy cow, they're on fire. I got them ranked 3 in batting, and I got them ranked 4 in bullpen. That's a tough team to beat. I don't care who's on the mound. I don't care if you put a KBO pitcher on the mound. but Wisniewski's got pretty bad numbers. Is he going to go deep? What do you think, Adam? Is he going to go deep?
I mean, he's he'll go as far as, I don't know that he's got the longest leash in the world. Of course, he's been coming back from an injury, but like I do think he's up to speed as a starter, so he'll go his
Okay.
full allotment of
Okay.
pitches. Yeah.
He's my expected numbers have him ranked 26 out of 30 on a curve of 30, though. It's not very good. But Savage has shown good flashes of brilliance, but I still have him ranked 15 out of 30. So not great. Pretty average, actually. I think people are getting used to his funky delivery, maybe, which is why he's not putting up the numbers he had last season. Still respectable numbers, though. And the Blue Jays bullpen is playing okay. I have the Blue Jays as the most average team in Major League Baseball. They're basically like the Texas Rangers. I got these teams basically ranked 15 in everything out of 30. So they're just very blah, and they could win a game any day. They do have the better pitcher today, but the Astros are just ranked. I mean, I can't bet against a team that has a top 5 bullpen and a top 5 lineup in current form. I just can't bet against that team. So it would be Astros or nothing for me, but I probably won't bet it because I kind of do like Savage a lot better than Wisniewski. So that's how I would approach it. And it's $5 Tuesday, guys. Everything at WagerTalk is $5 or free except 5% plays. So go grab something for $5 at wagertalk.com. What do you think, Adam?
This is a tricky series because the Astros have come in so hot and then obviously, cooled down last night, maybe to the surprise of some people. I certainly, I think yesterday we talked on the show. I didn't really know what to, I said I saw value on the Blue Jays, which obviously that was the side that won, but I think I made more of a case for the over when it was all said and done. And we really didn't see the runs come up in that game. I'm a little bit worried about the Astros. I mean, maybe that was like the start of them cooling off just a tad. So that's concerning to me. But like, I don't dislike. So I'll always butcher his name. So I got to spell it. Wisniewski. Wisniewski is how you pronounce his name. So you asked if he's going to go like his full distance. Like there's no pitch restriction on him. He was starting games at AAA for a month as part of his rehab. Every single start was a full start. Last time out, he goes 5 2/3 against the Angels. He kind of got off to a bad start, but I thought he settled in nicely. And he's a guy that, again, I was always probably higher than the market on him when he was with the Cubs. So he's someone that I definitely like am more inclined to back than fade. At least that was always the case during his years 2023, 2024. He spent a lot of times as like a bulk guy. He would get a spot start with the Cubs. And I always thought he was, was unfairly priced by the market. I always thought that he was better than where the books had him priced. I thought that as well ahead of his debut this year with the Astros, and they ended up coming out and winning that game 7-4. So do I think Trey Savage is probably the better starter? Yes. But yeah, I'm a little bit concerned with the fact that I think this might be where the Astros cool down a little bit. And I'll go back to the trade deadline yesterday. I like the moves that the Blue Jays made. Like, I don't think they got worse, and they won. So, that they've been looking, this Blue Jays team has been looking for a spark all year, right? Like they've been looking for a spark all year. And I'm just trying to pull a Trey Savage's like metrics up real quick, which for some reason, I don't know why they're not coming up. Anyway, I'll move on from that. Point is, the Blue Jays have been looking for a spark. They seem to have got one with the win yesterday and some of the trades. The Astros have been playing out of their minds, and they finally lose yesterday. So I kind of think I think I would go under here. It feels like it's going to be a similar game to yesterday. I think Wisniewski pitches well. I could see Savage pitching well. And even if Savage doesn't have his A-plus stuff, my gut says the Astros cool off because they had played so good for such a long stretch. They lose the opener. I think it's going to be another game like yesterday. I don't know if it'll be 3-1. Maybe it's 4-2. Maybe it's 5-2, 5-1. but I kind of like both of these pitchers to pitch well. And then, the bullpen is rested enough for both teams where I think you get the better arms at the end of this game. And both these teams desperately need to win this game. They're both in the mix. So I'm going to call this one under.
Do you think the Blue Jays are in the mix?
Of course they are. And here's, I'm going to give you a 60-second rant at like what I don't like a lot of these teams doing. I have no idea why it became the cool thing to do to sell when you have a chance to make the playoffs. Like there are way too many GMs that love like their numbers and they're like, oh, I can control this guy for 2 years and I can, get a guy back and I free up a little salary. And it's like someone made a great point yesterday on Twitter. One of the people I follow, it's a Red Sox fan, and he's like, hey, I'm not a Portland Sea Dogs fan. I'm a Boston Red Sox fan, right? Like yesterday, like the Red Sox got a guy that could potentially help them win this year. I'll take that. And I think too many of these teams get so caught up in like getting the right value for like this guy, that guy, and so on and so forth, that they forget the whole reason we're here. And the whole point of doing this is to get to the playoffs and win at the major league level. That is the literal point. And there's way too many teams that, in my opinion, like start to sell pieces off when they clearly are in the mix for the playoffs. The Orioles being one of them. The Tiger, like, I get it. Like, you have to like be concerned about the future and like organizational depth, but like way too many teams selling pieces when they're 2.5 games out. To circle back and answer your question, and because I gave out Blue Jays futures at one point in time on this show, yeah, the Jays are only like 3.5, 4 games back. Of course they have a chance. It's August 3rd. We've got 2 months of baseball left. All right, that's my rant. I don't know if it's actionable.
I wasn't disagreeing or arguing. I was just asking. Because I don't know. I mean, I can't tell if they're giving up pieces or if they're trying to make a run. By the trades that they're making, it's kind of confusing. That's all.
Look at how bad the American League is right now. Look at how bad the American League is right now. Yeah, I truly believe that Craig Breslow, which I typically don't agree with pretty much any move he's made, but like at least I can look at his thought process and say, okay, he thinks that the Red Sox have a real shot at getting to the World Series, because he's looking at the other 14 teams in this league and saying there's no one that's really better than us. And so we'll go into that game. We'll talk Red Sox. So obviously they made the big splash yesterday, if you want to call it that, in terms of probably the most headlines, if you will, right? Yeah, getting Adley Rutschman, giving up a whole bunch of people or a whole bunch of prospects. And I truly believe that the reason for this move is he's looking at the rest of the American League and saying, I can get to a World Series with this team, and then I buy time with the fan base. I said it yesterday. This is a fan base that 2 months ago wanted to sell the team. They wanted to burn it down. Everyone in Boston wanted to burn it down. Tokyo, Brandon, go look at Red Sox Twitter today. Everyone loves the team. We're going to the World Series. And this is 2 months difference in the same season. I look at the American League and I'm like, man, they might actually be the team that gets there, because I don't really like any of these other AL teams. So White Sox, Red Sox, they're at Fenway Park. They just come off of a sweep of the Dodgers. The Red Sox have all the momentum in the world, and they just told their fan base yesterday, hey, we want to win this year. How do you feel about the Red Sox here at home? Do you think they keep it going?
Well, by the way, are they getting Crochet back? Do you know? Is he out?
He will be back at some point. My guess is you're going to see him in like late September. That's what I think.
Okay, well, that must be why they think they have a chance, because
yes, he's
a stud. And if he comes back and they're playing like this, holy cow, right? The White Sox are even making moves to make a run, aren't they? And you don't see that very often. So the White Sox are actually making additions, which surprised me as well. So Davis Martin kind of falling from his great start. Got him ranked 18 out of 30 on a scale of 30. But don't be careful betting against the White Sox today, because he's got great stats against these Red Sox. It's Sox on Sox violence today, folks. 143 average against and a 411 OPS. That's pretty. Those are pretty stellar numbers. And Patrick Sandoval against these White Sox, not quite as good numbers, but his OPS is pretty under control. So I give a slight nod to the White Sox in the pitching just because of past history, but both pitchers are excellent, or at least both pitchers are above mediocre. Let's put it that way. I won't say excellent. Both bullpens are excellent, though. Where I see a big difference here is the Red Sox hitting is a little bit more on fire than the White Sox right now. But as I've said in past videos, great pitching trumps great batting because it's much harder to hit a baseball than to throw a baseball. So I think Davis Martin can neutralize the Boston bats, and if I were to play it, it looks like an under to me in this game because I like both pitchers. The lineup that's on fire, I feel, will be neutralized today, so it looks like an under to me. That's how I would play it.
Someone just said I'm louder than usual today. Yeah, it's possible. I don't know. I feel like I did. This is water this morning, though. No coffee. The energy drink is already done.
Extra energy drink today.
I'm ready to go. I spent all day yesterday just following the trades, trying to remember every trade. I'm ready to rock today. I don't know what you want me to come here and just be like, yeah, I don't know, kind of like the Dodgers. No, I'm ready to go. We're trying to cash tickets and to bring the heat. So sorry for being fired up right here. As far as the Red Sox are concerned, Tokyo Brandon, see, this is where it comes down to, like, I think they win tonight. I think they continue to play good ball, but I don't necessarily love the price. Of course, the White Sox were a team that for the last couple of years I was saying team's going to be good. Give them time. They're going in the right direction. Coming into this year, I thought they had. You can go back to one of our earliest shows in March. I said they have a real chance to win this division this year. Now look at them. Right? They've become the team to beat in the AL Central. They have a 3-game lead in the division. They played much better. I thought maybe they'd start to fade, and they played really good against the Rays, who are another team right now that's vying to be that top team in the American League. But like, this is an interesting handicap for a couple of reasons, because the Red Sox just swept the Dodgers, and they've got to come all the way back home. And now they're coming back home to their fans who, again, as I said, were out on this team 2 months ago and now expect to go to the World Series. That's what you get when you're in Boston and then you win 15 games and then you go and make a move at the trade deadline and like you're in the mix. Now every Red Sox fan's like, we're in the World Series. We're going to the World Series. Are they a little bit inflated on the price here? Maybe. Being minus 130 with Sandoval on the mound, maybe a tad inflated. But like, I don't really want to bet against them right now. I think they're playing good ball, and I still think the White Sox maybe have a little swoon here in August at some point. Like, I just don't know if the White Sox have the arms to have a really good month of August. And Davis Martin is one of them, where I kind of think that he had such a good first 2 months that he's kind of coming back to earth. And that's not what you want against this Red Sox lineup right now. The lineup's too good. So I'll go Red Sox here, but I just don't know if I want to lay minus 130. All right.
White Sox would love to have Crochet back at this point.
Yeah, they would. And yes, if you're looking for futures and stuff like that, although I think you missed your window to bet the Red Sox, I think you'd be taking a bad number right now. I do think Crochet, unless there's some sort of setback, will 100% be back by playoff time. In my opinion. Add Crochet to what they got now, and this is a good playoff team. I don't think they would have made the move with Connolly early if they didn't think they were getting Crochet back this year at some point. It's just my opinion.
Yep.
All right, let's go back,
Tuesday, guys. Everything at WagerTalk is $5 or free, except 5% plays. So go to WagerTalk. I have a play out. Adam, if he doesn't already, will. And Adam's plays are usually 4% or higher. So lots of value. $5. Go get it.
Yeah, $5 Tuesday. I will have something up at some point in time. Daryl, I kind of agree with you. Breslow's got he's doing something, and they're sticking to the plan. They're building their staff out a certain way, and if guys don't fit, they don't really care Like they just get rid of him, and they're like, okay, like another organization will benefit maybe, but the Red Sox are doing something uh, very specific, and we'll see if it pays off or not. So this gaudy logo, Tokyo Brandon, on my hat today is the Somerset Patriots. And the reason I wore
Looks
this
like the
one today,
Patriots.
is because I grabbed this at one of George Lombard's first games with the team. And then I actually got to see his AAA debut earlier this year in Scranton. And now we're going to see his major league debut with the Yankees, which I expect to be tonight. I saw the Yankees like to do what they do, post their corny video of someone coming into the coach's office that's very staged, in my opinion, and getting the call up. And he's going to get the call up, and probably rightfully so. I believe he's got a 34-game on-base streak in AAA. He's played great. The guy he's going to replace on the roster is Anthony Volpe, so I think that's an upgrade just before he ever steps on the field. And maybe some juice to the Yankees, who are trying to sort of reconstruct their lineup a little bit. After last week, when I sort of threw some shade at the Yankee lineup, I was like, what are we looking at here in the Cubs series? Since then, they make the trade for Luis Garcia. He goes deep last night. They bring one of their top prospects up into the mix. Tokyo Brandon, I was a little surprised at that Cards-Yankees game last night. Mm-hmm. Not the game I expected, and I didn't expect the Yankees to lose, but they got killed. So, question to you, do the Yankees bounce back here today? Cards-Yankees, how do you see this one?
Yeah, they have added some pieces, but before any pieces were added, man, this lineup was hurting. Ben Rice was their best batter, or that's not good news in Major League Baseball. You're going to lose some games that way. Taking a look at how the pitchers face each other, no, not really enough data, but man, Hunter Dobbins has pretty good numbers against the Yankees, but it's only 21 at-bats against. I don't know. I just don't see the Yankees bouncing out of this funk that they're in. But it's hard to take St. Louis because they're just a very average team, as their record indicates. 56 and 57, 28 and 25 away. So very, very average. The Yankees used to be one of the best home teams in Major League Baseball. Boy, have the mighty fallen. They're 26 and 24 at home now. This Yankees number is extremely inflated, in my opinion. I think Dobbins is getting a lot of disrespect here. He's not a bad pitcher. He just is not a household name. Weathers, I loved him at Miami. Not so much at New York. He's okay, but he's 4-7. I think St. Louis has a shot here. I'm not going to bet it, but I think they got a shot here.
Yeah, here's the annoying thing. I feel like I want to start buying the Yankees from this point forward, because I think the lineup shuffle makes sense. The lineup they trotted out there in that Cubs series was horrific. And you know what? To the Yankees' credit, they didn't play all that bad. Like all things considered, like with the lineup that they had out there last week, like the fact that they were able to go in and again, I just want to not misspeak. Yeah, so the fact that they were able to go in and take 2 of 3 at Wrigley with the lineup that they had last week was pretty impressive. The fact that they took 2 of 3 from the Phillies, again, like, and even split with the White Sox, like that to me, like that road trip with the lineup that they had out for the road trip since the Bellinger injury should have been a disaster. In the grand scheme of things, it wasn't that bad. Make no mistake about it, the Yankees lineup is exponentially better today than it was 5 days ago. Luis Garcia doesn't miss a beat, hits a bomb. Lombard's going to improve this lineup, because remember, at one point in time last week, the bottom 3 was like Volpe, Wells, and like some other bum that I forget who was even in the bottom 3. George Lombard, again, you never know how these guys are going to react when they get called up at the big league level. But like this dude has been an on-base machine at AAA this year. An on-base machine. 815 OPS doesn't like jump off the page, but he's always on base. He's clearly a good player. I don't really know what to like, it's hard to know, because again, we said the same thing about Volpe, right? Like when he was cruising through the minors, and they don't always pan out. But I think right now it's going to add a little juice, which I think is necessary for this Yankees team. So like I want to buy them. The problem is, TB, I'm with you. Like the fact that the books are going to make you pay minus 170 here after the loss they had yesterday is a little bit inflated. And I think that's what puts me off. If the Yankees go down early here, or I can get like, if you can play this in game like minus 130 or better, I'm fine with that. Because I do think they find a way to win today. I'm still a little bit out on the Cardinals. I still think we see the Cardinals regress out of the race as the season goes along. So the Cardinals will be a fade for me. I just don't really want to do it at $1.70.
So, guys, to put this in a sports betting perspective, Adam thinks the Yankees are about like a BMW, but he's not willing to pay $200,000 for a BMW. So this is how you have to look at sports betting. I'm serious, you know. I mean, if you like a side, you got to look at the price and say, I'm not paying that. You know, this is how sports betting is. We're not picking winners, basically, like you said earlier. So very good.
Well, it's only,
I
guess
that St. Louis is not a great team. I agree.
Yeah, and I just think, like, I'll say this again about the Cardinals. And again, I would have loved to find a way in with the Yankees in this series, but I just don't know if we're going to get the price point. The Cardinals, in my opinion, played as good as they possibly could have for the first like 3.5 months of the season. And now I just think it's a young team. The rotation is not great. And I just think, like, you start to look at this team, and they're the type of team where I'm like, yeah, this is really going to catch up with them in August. Like, I'll go as far as to say I wouldn't be that surprised if the Cardinals like sort of free fall out of this thing. And that's not like listen, many people had the Cardinals as like a bottom 5 team coming into the season. So
I was just going to say, even on our show, I think one of us, it was either you or Brian, picked
Brian liked
the
it.
worst
Brian, props to Brian Leonard. He kind of called this out, but I can't see them finishing the season strong. That's just my opinion.
They're very mediocre.
I got something to promo real quick since I don't have a baseball play up yet, but I will, and it'll be $5. Someone says, Trigger, you doing an early bird football package this year? I believe we will have something up on my page within the week. And preseason football for me has always been one of the strongest. Like that's my time. Those 3 weeks in August, I pulled up my numbers from the last 4 years. I'm 18-7, 72%, plus 34.47 units on the NFL preseason. Last year, I went 4-0. So, like, I take the preseason very seriously. I think there's a lot of value. No, I don't just, like, piggyback what these sharp people steam and then have it at an unplayable number. In a lot of cases, I'm finding spots to play against that. So I hope you join me for the NFL season, but don't wait till September because we're probably going to make money in August. And yes, there will be early bird specials specifically for that, but I do believe the football ones are already up on my page. So yeah, thank you for asking. And that's my promo for the day. All right, let's continue on right here. Tokyo Brandon, we do need to lock a 2-teamer in. Have we talked about your 2-team leg yet, or do you know where you want to go with that?
We have not talked about my 2-team leg yet, and I'm a bit undecided on where I want to go in it. Pick a game. I'll get it. I'll get it after the next game. Because
all right.
No, I do have it.
Okay, go ahead.
Go. Sorry to be wishy-washy there. We're gonna go to the Nationals and Phillies because I've told you in the past never bet against Jesus, and today I am not betting against Jesus. I think the Phillies curb stomp the Nationals today. I realize how yesterday's game went, but Luzardo's just pitching great. And I've got him not on a curve, but out of 250 pitchers, I've got him number 5 in Major League Baseball. He's not walking anybody. His walk rate, 25%, well under the range that I consider acceptable. And since Littell left Tampa, he's not looked good at Washington. Bullpen, that Washington bullpen, did you see yesterday? As soon as that bullpen came in, boom, the game switched. It was just like, are you kidding me? This bullpen is, if you're live betting and the Washington starter comes out, bet a run that inning. They're almost guaranteed to give away a run automatically right when they come in the game. And the Phillies their hitting is picking up now. So I liked some additions they made. The clubhouse seems energized. Before the trade deadline, Bryce Harper was out there like almost crying, saying, "We got to do something, man." Well, they did, and they look energized. I like the Phillies today. That's going to be my leg of my parlay. Odds are minus 270 for a parlay leg. Yeah, I know that's pretty harsh. Yeah, I'm going to do it though. I like the Phillies.
Yeah, here's the thing with the Nats. Like, I get what I understand the moves the Nationals made. Like, but this is a team that kind of, in my opinion, told their locker room, like, we're focused on next year. Like, and I'm fine. I'm actually fine with that for them. You know, they kind of overachieved, in my opinion, to this point in the year. They were in a spot where, like, so their situation is a little bit different because I do, you know, they bring in new management. The new management is clearly came into this season. It was a rebuild. I don't think anyone expected the Nationals to play as well as they did this year. But like, you know, I do think they looked around and said, man, the National League is good. There's a lot of good teams in the NL. Like, yes, we're only 4 or 5 out, but we're going to have to catch some really, really good teams. And I think they looked at their pitching staff and said, yeah, it's not going to happen. And so that's why you saw the Meade trade. That's why you saw the Luis Garcia trade. And I'm not saying that day to day there won't be value on the Nationals. There probably will be at some point, but I don't think it's right now. I think the Nats are in a little bit of a free fall mode. I think the guys still there are going to, you know, like, I think right now you're seeing the acceptance phase of like, yeah, this isn't our year. And they're going to need something good to happen, in my opinion, to sort of like get going to play out the rest of the season. But those are two teams, the one we talked about last, the Cardinals, and this one, the Nationals, that I think are going to fall way out of any sort of contention in the National League. The Nationals have lost 6 games in a row. I, too, don't have much faith in them doing much in this game. Luzardo's a guy that I think is, when he is on, when he's at his best, he's a legitimate ace.
It's really good.
I mean, like when Luzardo is at his best, he's as good as any, you know, he's as good as any pitcher in the league. Last time out against the Marlins, he wasn't great. That was a little surprising to me because the Marlins typically don't hit left-handed pitching as well. But like, also, Luzardo had a pretty crazy run going into that start, like of like 7 scoreless, 5 innings, 7 strikeouts, 1 run. The start before that was 9 strikeouts in 7 innings of 1-run ball against the Yankees. I'm looking at Luzardo's sort of, you know, stats this year. There's not many bad back-to-back outings, which is good. And yeah, I just don't really want the Nats when they're in free fall mode. They're on the road. They have a pitcher that absolutely could get tattooed here. TB, I think you could. This is a scenario where maybe you could lay the -1.5. But if you're going to put it in a parlay, listen, no, Dodgers, Phillies, money line parlay. If that's close to even money, that's a good bet. So yeah,
the books are definitely cheering for an upset in one of those 2 games.
There's Antonio.
But Luzardo played for Miami, and I was surprised he didn't pitch well against them either, because these guys love to pitch well against teams that unload them. So yeah.
I think he caught the Marlins when they were just like starting to get hot again after their losing streak. But yeah, listen. Dodgers, hey, someone's like, what happens to Triggs Miami futures? Don't count the Marlins out yet. They're not done. That team might have some juice in them going. I think they'll be in the mix. They're going to be so much more in the mix than a team like the Nationals or the Cardinals, in my opinion. The Marlins are not dead by any means. I know they sold some parts off, but they still have a good core there, in my opinion. To Antonio in the chat, is it a terrible idea just to play Dodgers Phillies? Listen, I haven't run that parlay. If that comes out anywhere near even money, I know it's square as heck, but it's probably a winner. I'd be shocked if it loses. So there you go.
I'd be shocked if it's even money. I'll check.
I'd be shocked if it's
looking for the
even.
next
It's probably like -110, -1. Well, I don't know what the odds are of that.
I'll check it right now, but in reality, the Phillies are
-105, -110. I think that parlay is going to be like -105.
The Phillies are a little bit over. Oh, It's plus 103 in some books. Wow.
That's not, I mean, that's not a bad bet. And I'm looking for, listen, I'm looking for ways to sell this Phillies team for the most part. I was, but I do think the Phillies addressed some needs at the deadline yesterday, and they've been so good over the years at home. And this is more for me, more just a fade of the Nationals. The Nationals are not a team that I think is going to get my money anytime soon. I think they're going to be going in the wrong direction the rest of the way.
I love CJ Abrams, but man,
Yeah.
going to be tough rest of the season
Listen,
for him.
I'm not going to do it for the show. I'm going to find a different game for the show. But like Phillies Dodgers minus 105 is not a bad bet, in my opinion.
Plus
If you can get
103.
plus money, I'm sorry, plus 105. That's what Alex is saying it at FanDuel. Like if you can get plus money on that parlay, like that is not a terrible bet. I'd be willing to sign off on that. Yeah. It's so not my style, Tokyo Brandon. I never like these like 2-team money money line parlays, but I will say this. It is the one time a year they start to make sense is like after the trade deadline when some of these teams sell, and yet you'll have a team like the Dodgers be a $2 favorite, or like a team like the Phillies be a 270 favorite when they should be a $4 favorite. Stuff like that. That's when it starts to make sense to just fire these little 2-team money line parlays. All right, let's go to a different game. I'll throw this one in. I'm gonna put the Twins in. Twins money line for the parlay. I believe they're minus 140. This was a game I wanted to talk about. Listen, like, the Twins were not quite as they were a little bit active. I thought the Twins would be more active than they were, but like they quietly sort of went out, got a couple of relievers. They said that was their goal, was to get bullpen help on the trade at the trade deadline. I feel like they accomplished that as good as they sort of could without really having to like give anything big time up. And I said this the other day, and I'll double down on this statement right now. You look at the AL Central, and like, yes, I understand that the Guardians made some moves to improve their team, but like where these teams are priced, the Twins were priced far worse than the Guardians to win this division. Someone in there in the chat said, "Oh, I took a shot with the Tigers to win this division." I got to be honest, I don't see it. I don't see the Tigers. I think they had a really good weekend against a very weak A's team. I won't be surprised if they play okay, but like I don't think the Tigers are going to put 2 months together that can win that division. It's likely going to be the White Sox or the Guardians, but last week when we were talking about the Twins, they were 5-1. I don't have the current odds in front of me right now, but they were 5-1 last week. And I think like if they're anything close to that, like that's the team I think has the outside shot to win the Central, because I do think the White Sox probably regress a little bit. Big game today for the Twins if they want that to happen. You can't go to Kansas City and lose. And I think right here, Tokyo Brandon, we are going to start to see Randy Dobnak pitch like the AAA pitcher that he is. Joe Ryan on the mound for the Twins. Feels like a good spot for Joe Ryan to bounce back. The Twins get back to 500 if they win this game, and I think they do. So Twins will be my parlay leg. Talk to me, Twins Royals, anything for you to add here?
Yeah, the chat is going to destroy me and crucify me for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I like Joe Ryan, but I think the books overrate him horrendously. He's 6 wins and 7 losses right now. That means now Brian and all of us have made this point that a pitcher's record does not really reflect how good he is. I mean, Skeens has a losing record right now. Joe Ryan has a losing record. Doesn't mean they're bad pitchers. It means their teams don't score for them when they're out there. But he has lost 7 games, and he's not invincible like he's priced to be invincible. So I think he's a great pitcher, actually. I like Joe Ryan. I backed him in his last start, and I got burned. He is dangerous to back on the road. So just keep that in mind. But the Twins are a better team than the Royals. By a mile. I mean, the Twins aren't hitting real well right now. Neither are the Royals, but I mean, the Twins are a better team and they do have the better pitcher. So the Twins make sense. If you can get them for minus 145 or better, they're probably a decent bet. I'm just wary that the books are overpricing Joe Ryan. That's my only, and him on the road kind of worries me as well. I'm just worried because I got burned his last start. That's all.
Listen, someone in the chat said, I can't let you use Randy Dobnak and like good in the same. I don't want to come on here and just bash the guy, but like, here's the deal. I've been watching. I watch AAA baseball religiously. I watch it every day. I year in and year out. I'm typically going to do my best work at the AAA level. And we've talked about this a million times. The lines are softer. There's more of an edge. Randy Dobnak is a AAA journeyman caliber pitcher. Okay. He's 31 years old. He came from the Twins organization. So you want to talk about a guy where a team's going to know exactly what they're going to get from him. He spent a lot of time in the Twins organization. This is the type of guy. He seems like a good teammate. He's always healthy. So he keeps, he like pretty much goes out there. And that's there's that saying, your best, one of the best, I'm going to forget the saying. I think it's Bill Parcells, where it's like availability. One of the football coaches said it, but it's about being available and not being hurt. And, that's Dobnak. He's out there every fifth day in AAA. He's always healthy. He goes out, he makes his start. He gives you innings, even if he doesn't have his best stuff. But this is a guy that has 782 innings in AAA in his career. He's a career 4 ERA guy at AAA, over that many innings. His whip career 1.36. He has had the month of his life at the big league level. Shout out to him. Okay, listen, again, props to him. A 104 ERA and a 119 whip and a 219 batting average against in a full month for the Kansas City Royals. He got called up on July 1st. Best month of his career. There is just no way. I've watched this guy too many times. He throws 91 mile an hour fastball. He will probably get lit up if he is in the big leagues from now until September 1st. The Royals are just a disaster of a team. I've said this all year. Everyone liked the Royals to win this division coming into the year. A lot of sharp people were betting the Royals, and I think I came out in the first show and I was like, team just ain't it. And they're 46-67. This is a huge series for the Twins. This is a huge spot for Joe Ryan to bounce back. I, too, think he's probably at times a little overvalued by the books, but I've always thought it was warranted with him. I think I said coming into the year he was a top 15 starting pitcher in the league. Yes, he struggled a little bit. He still has a 1.11 whip. Last time out against the Royals, he did give up 4 runs, but he made it 6 innings. I think you're going to see him make the adjustment. He probably shuts the Royals down. And if he doesn't, you know what? Dobnak's giving up runs at some point. So Twins minus 140. Best bet for the show. That'll be my leg of the parlay.
Yeah, I wasn't arguing. I'm just saying, yeah, he is overvalued. I think we agree on that. But yeah, today, I think anything better than minus 150 is decent value for the Twins because they're just a better team and they have the better pitcher. They have the better bullpen. They have the better hitting. Don't overthink it.
Someone says, why do you watch AAA? Don't you have a family?
It's his job.
Yeah, A, this is my job. B, in AAA this year, I am 60-41 plus 38.39 units. I have a very, very understanding fiance that understands this is my job, and we have fur babies, not real babies. So that's spend a lot of time with my dogs watching AAA baseball. So yeah, that's why it's by far my biggest edge, and that is. That's the answer to that question.
Spare time, Adam is a furry. He dresses like a squirrel and goes watch college basketball games.
I do go to college. That is what I do in my spare time. If I'm not here watching games, I'm typically at a game. Yes, I don't have.
I just don't
have many interests outside of this. You guys benefit from that. So yeah, you're lucky that I don't have many interests outside of this and hanging out with the dogs. So yep. Yeah. That's it. So that is our. Listen, I just turned 40. Like I was a nut in my 20s and early 30s. I got it out of my system. I had enough social life from the time I was in college to my early 30s where it's like I'm all set. I just want to chill now. I don't have the energy for it anymore. I gotta drink a ton of caffeine to come here all jacked up for you guys. Like I'll be exhausted by like 7 p.m. And then I try to stay up to watch the West Coast games. Last night, the Padres put me to sleep. Unfortunately, I stayed up and watched every pitch of that disaster. So at any rate, I'm going to try to do. Oh, yeah, go ahead, TB.
Sorry to cut you off. Before we close the show, we would be remiss if we did not remind you that it's $5 Tuesday. Everything at WagerTalk.com. Actually, everything at all of WagerTalk's owned sites, picks and parlays, and sportsmemo.com. Also, everything is $5 today. So go there and check it out. 5% plays are not $5, but everything else is. So go grab something for $5 and try out a capper of your choice.
Yeah, we'll squeeze one in. It's the last day of just me and TB. We don't have a show behind us. So yes, we can squeeze in Pirates Brewers. Someone's like, don't have many interests. You're just a boring person. Let me tell you something. If you are paying someone to give you sports betting advice, you want that person to be a boring person that doesn't leave their house much. If you're on the ski slopes, I don't know how you're locked in, or if you're doing whatever. I see way too much. Like, you want your handicapper to basically just eat, sleep, and breathe whatever it is they're handicapping, or you probably shouldn't be paying that person to give out picks. Like I'll die on that hill all day. If I was out doing all sorts of stuff, I would not suggest you pay me to buy picks, because I'm not.
Would you be happy to see your stockbroker vacationing in France and the Middle East every week instead of watching your money? Seriously, we are basically your stockbrokers. So.
Someone's like, that much baseball is not healthy, pal. I would, if I could crush a lineup of baseball and snort it, I would. That is how much of a baseball guy that I am. I can't get enough.
Me too.
I'm sad it's August because I know how close it is to being over. So because TB and I are baseball guys, for Alex Rand, let's do Pirates Brewers. How do you see this one?
And we're feeling a little rebellious today. We're going over an hour. Let Kelly call Adam's phone all she wants. So,
yeah, I might get a call from for that last comment, but we'll see. Yeah.
So we got Jones and we've got Henderson. I love Henderson. This is the guy that they benched.
Yeah.
They
wouldn't trade him, TB. They didn't want to trade him.
I know.
They could have got Skubal if they gave up Henderson. They didn't want to.
I would not do that trade. That's how much I like him. But they like him so much they sent him to the minor leagues and crushed his ego last season. But apparently they're not doing that this season. So Adam and I can argue about this all we want. But anyways, they have him now, and they're making a playoff run. They got the best record in MLB. Jared Jones, his surface numbers not very good, but if you actually watch him pitch, he's pitching amazing. I think an under in this game would be the only way I would go. And if you can get an 8 or an 8.5, anything like that, it looks like 7.5. I would stretch that. I would alt that to 8.5 and bet an under on that. That's how I would approach this game, because I love both of these pitchers, and I think the lineups are not exactly crushing it right now. That's how I would do it.
Yeah, Ethan, my guy Ethan came to a Bowling Green Lemoyne basketball game with myself, and Brian Power, and it was during an NFL Sunday, and we sat courtside and had like 3 phones going with the NFL games, and we're watching the basketball game. Yes, that is the good thing is I do get media credentials at a lot of these places, and I get on the arena Wi-Fi. It is massive for being able to watch other games. As far as this game is concerned, Tokyo Brandon, I don't disagree with the thing about Logan Henderson. Like, again, he's been sort of like an odd man out at times, which is, it's tough for him because he would be in almost any other big league rotation and he would have been there to stay. The Brewers want him starting games, but he's like been number 6. So if you're number 6 and you're on a team that's got 5 good starters, and you're his age, sadly, you end up at the AAA level. He's absolutely big league caliber. And in this case, now you guys, I love Jared Jones. He's a guy that I've looked to back at times. But the Pirates, they win last night. They needed some of their bullpen arms to get it done. Now they did bring in reinforcements. Props to the Pirates. They went out and they improved their bullpen at the trade deadline. So it's not as bad as it was. But in this case, man, My gut says the Brewers bounce back here, but the Pirates crush right-handed pitching. They crush right-handed pitching. So this is probably.
I don't see either one of these guys getting crushed today.
No, I don't either.
Don't. Yeah,
I actually don't either. But can you take an under 7.5? Is the question? Because I'm at about 7.6.
Yeah, it's tight. That's why I said I would alt it to 8.5.
Yeah. So here's the deal. My final thoughts on this one. Similar to yesterday, I see the value with the Pirates. Okay, the Pirates was my play for the show yesterday, plus 127 at 1. Similar to yesterday, I see the value for the Pirates, but I think the Brewers win today. And because I think the Brewers win, I'm going to be out, because even though I do think there's some value, Jared Jones on the mound, plus 145 underdog, Pirates crushing right-handed pitching, which Logan Henderson's right-handed pitcher. TB, I too like Logan Henderson just a little too much to like want to fade him and the Brewers at home off of a close loss. So yeah, I'm out on this game. That is my assessment of the game. Sorry, I don't have more of a take there for you guys, but that is how
I think we gave them enough.
Yeah,
$5 Tuesday, we gave them everything.
Yeah, I think we hit about half the slate. I think we hit about 7 of the games. The 2-teamer for today, the 2-team parlay that Tokyo Brandon and I are going with. Phillies on the money line for TB. Twins on the money line for me. We'll try to hit this one. Tokyo Brandon has an event tomorrow night. Remember, he does this show at night. He stays up late to do this show for you guys. So props to TB. I always shout out Brian for showing up at 6 a.m., but shout out to you. Most people are in bed right now or getting ready for bed, and you do this show every night. So I hope you have a great dinner tomorrow, wherever you're going. I'm sure the food
dinner party
is going to be phenomenal. I'm sure the food's going to be phenomenal.
Japanese food. Yep. I'll take a picture.
I gotta get out to Japan one day too. I told you I watched a documentary not too long ago about just like the quality of Japanese food, and now I just want to go just for like a vacation where I just go eat like at a different places, and then maybe we could hop over to Korea and go to a KBO game. But
yeah, that would be awesome. That's on my bucket list, to go to Korea and watch a KBO game for sure. It's only 2 hours away.
One year when the MLB All-Star break and the KBO one don't line up super perfectly, that's the target window to get it done, in my opinion. That's what I'm going to do. I will not be bringing the dog. It's hard enough for me to bring the dog to my parents' house 2 hours ago. No, I won't be bringing the dog. So at any rate, it's $5 Tuesday. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us on a daily basis. Again, 2-teamer for today. Phillies money line, Twins money line, all the plays for today, $5. Bryan Leonard, safe travels. He will be back tomorrow morning, and we will be here for more total bases. The 3 of us will be back on Thursday, but we're here every day, 9 a.m. Eastern, and then on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Appreciate you guys joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.